So, my name is Sofia, or you might know me as nailedbyssof here on Instagram. And I am a part of the content crew of Moonflair. And I am going to show you some fun neon pigment designs today. Perfect now for summer. Because we all know when the summer starts, all the neon paints, pigments, everything you can find comes out. Hello, Louise. So, has anyone worked with neon pigments before, or is this your first time? I might as well show you, in case you don't know what neon pigments look like. They are, oh hello, like a powder, like this one. I have pretty huge containers actually. They are usually like half the size. I don't know where or how I managed to find such big ones, but I did. And before I start, I want you all to pray for me and hope I don't drop any of these pigments. Usually I don't work with any like pigments or loose glitters or anything like that, because I am an expert at dropping them. But I love these neon pigments so much, those are a separate thing. I can work with those, but I'm always scared I'm gonna drop something, so let's hope I don't do that. But I figured we would start with this one, where I can go through like the whole, how you get the pigment to stick to the nail and how to like make it a background so you can use your art on top. And then we'll go over to these ones, how you can incorporate your pigments into the actual art itself. So let's just move around here a little. See, I already got pigment all over my hand. What a great start. What a great start. So yes, if you work with these pigments, I would recommend gloves. But for some reason I decided to not work with gloves today, so I'll just have to deal with getting pigments all over myself, most likely. So I have started by doing just one layer of white on this tip, but I am actually going to do a second layer, because you want that tacky layer from the white in order to get the pigments to stuck. I find that to be the easiest way to just have a base with the tacky layer. Like white is obviously the one you want to use to really make the colors pop, but you can probably use any light colors, I would say. If you go too dark, the pigments just won't show up. So yes, a base with a sticky layer. I am going to cure this though, so it's cured, but just the tacky layer that you get from the color is what you want. If you, however, don't have a color that gets a sticky layer, I would suggest using maybe like a bonder or something on top of the color, and that way you still have the sticky layer. I've tried doing it with a top coat that has a sticky layer, but somehow it wouldn't really stick as well as I would want it to. Like it started to bleed away a little bit, so I wouldn't recommend it. But if you have tried it and made it work, please let me know how. Maybe I should start it too. There we go. So for the pigments, there's a couple of different tools you could use. We have the classic little makeup applicator. You could, of course, use one of these makeup wedges, how you say it? Mine has obviously gone through some stuff. I don't know what happened to that one, but let's ignore it. I've also seen people use these kind of fan brushes, either a small one or a big one. I feel like you probably will have more control of where the pigment goes if you have the small one instead of the big one. And when I first started using these pigments, I used a stippling brush, I think these are called. It's basically just like I took a makeup brush from home that I didn't use. And as you can see, I still have some blue powder in it. And I also tried it with a smaller makeup brush. If you take a makeup brush, as you can see, you will still have the pigments in the brush. So I wouldn't recommend going back to using it for makeup. So just if you have a brush that you don't use and you can sacrifice it for this, go ahead. If you don't have a brush that you can sacrifice, go for maybe like the makeup applicator or the makeup wedge. Otherwise, what I use is I don't even know what these are called. I just found it in my it's a hair on it. Come on. I found it in my drawer. I was going through what I call my chaos drawer and found this laying here. And I think these actually work pretty great. As you can see, I have this side that's been clearly used. And I like the fact that they have this removable ends. So you can just... if it gets like too much on it and you can't really use it well, you can just pop it off and put a new one in. Perfect. And let's see, that one is ready to go. Now we have our base tacky layer with just a white. For this one I've used a couple of different ones just to like really mix them up. And actually what I like to do is to take the pigment, tap the end a little bit. ASMR for you guys, you're welcome. Hey natties! And that way I get a lot of pigment stuck in the lid and have a little bit more control how much I get on my applicator if I drip it, push it. English is hard. If I just put it in the lid instead of putting the whole thing in this container. So that's usually how I do it. So let's just put all of the colors we're gonna use today here. And also, that way I can put away the containers as far away from me as possible so I don't knock them over. So also a good tip if there's anyone like me that likes to knock over stuff. Here we go. So today I'm going to be using green, purple, pink, pink, yellow and orange. But of course you can use any colors you want and mix and match however you want. But yes, so what I'm basically just going to do is I am going to dip. Can you see? Here we go. Dip my little applicator. So now I have some pigment on there. Take and just dab, 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 dab. Dab, 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 dab. And that's literally the easiest way to get this to stick. At least in my opinion. Just dab, 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 dab. Last time I did a live, we had the wiggle, wiggle. This time we're having the dab, dab, dab. Dab, dab, dab. I don't know if you can see, but here's a little bit, a small area that you can kind of see the white through it. Not really too much, but a little bit. And that doesn't really matter, but you can always cover it up with another color later. But how are you going to spill then? It will feel right if nothing is spilled. Or just wait, not this. I am going to find a way to spill it, I promise. Just wait. I will try and find a way just for you. And then I'm going to have a nightmare after that. Perfect, right? Hello, Selena. So now I dipped into the green. And let's just dab into the other corner. There's really no right way how to put your colors. I just go through like what I feel like. And right now I don't care too much about the blending. I will go back to that later. I like to put down my colors first and then do the blending. Jag tappar precis min tipplåda på golvet. Jag skulle välta ut pigment på någonting. Åh nej, jag har gjort samma sak också. Dropping your tip holder, I feel like might even be more tragic than dropping a pigment, because the pigment you can easily just like vacuum up maybe or something, or take like a wet rag, but the tips, oh no, that's a whole nother story. Like you gotta sort them out again. Did you sort them out again, or did you just do my way where I just leave it and cry and maybe go back to it later, if I ever use tips, that is. But while I was using tip, I had one time I dropped the whole thing and I just put it all in a bag, in a drawer, closed the drawer, and went home and cried. And took care of it a little bit later. Now let's go in with some yellow. Oh wait, can you even see it? It is so hot right now here in Sweden, so I'm just like super sticky. I feel like my whole body is just sticky. So I'm sticking to my table, so I'm hoping that's not gonna be an issue. But we'll see. And oh no. If you get like too much pigment on it, like I did there, just take like a makeup wedge. That works. And just dust it off. Like drag it out. Like put it down, drag. And it's gone. Like it's all on there now instead. Easy cleanup. Now I'm actually thinking I'm gonna go in with this little applicator to fix up the edges a little bit. You could leave it like this, obviously, if you want to. It kind of looks kind of cool. But let's go in with some purple. This is not purple. Orange, I mean. I am apparently colorblind now as well. More. And just stabbing on a little bit where I feel like I need some extra. And when I try to blend, I usually like have a little bit of pigment on it. Go a little bit over the edge and just press it down and drag out. Now, as you can see, I managed to somehow get... Is that purple maybe there? I don't know what it is, but we're just gonna roll with it. If you're gonna use many... Yeah, I've got something else there too, I see. If you're gonna use many colors, maybe I would suggest just having different applicators, not using the same one like I did, but... I got too lazy to switch it out, so that's my issue. And we're just gonna brush on. We can put some green. So now I'm curious, where are you all from? And what's the weather like where you are? Are you like in any country that has the heat wave that's going on in at least Europe right now? Or are you fine? Let me know. Let me see if I can find... There we go. I'm moving the whole thing. Sorry. Where are you? There. Sundsvall. Yeah, you got the same heat as me probably then. I'm in Stockholm. For anyone caring. And it's pretty hot here. Last weekend, I actually went home to Åland, where I'm from, to celebrate Midsummer. And I was surprised by how hot it was there, because usually it's like really windy, so you don't really feel the heat as much. But oh my god, this weekend was so crazy. And of course, I managed to burn myself, like my whole body right now just looks like a... walking traffic light. Gorgeous, I know. I am making traffic stop. Alright, I feel like this is as good as it's gonna get. You get to a point where you just can't blend it out anymore and you just have to roll with it. So I am just going to pop this into the lamp for a little bit just to cure it and really get it to stuck. And after that, I usually like to add a matte top coat on top before I start adding any design, just so the, in this case black gel, won't drag out the pigments as much. But of course you can use any color. I decided to go with black just to get the contrast so you can really see it, but I would feel like putting like some details in white on this could be really cool. Maybe we should do that instead. I am going to use white later. Okay, I'm going to let you guys decide. Should we do black or white details on this one this time? And when I say details, hold on. 1 second, 1 second, 1 more second. Come on, thank you. When I say details, I just mean like these little, I don't know, half circles, ovals. I don't know what to call those, but those. Should I make those in black or white? You let me know. You got a few more seconds to decide before I decide. Nee, 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 nee. Haven't missed any comments. Alright. Looks like the white is the winner. One of each. Oh my god, you're making it more. Nope, we're doing white. One of each sounds too complicated right now. White it is. So I'm just gonna grab oh hello, there we go, strapping brush and a white gel paint, and of course cleanse it first because we don't want the stick layer. We do not want the sticky. There you go. We have a base to work with, matte base with some pigments. And I mean, actually, you could just do it this way. Leave the nail like this, and it would be pretty cool. As you can see here, I didn't go all the way with the top coat apparently. So that's when I cleansed the nail. I got rid of some of that pigment, the purple pigment over there. So if you're doing this on a client, really make sure you get the pigment, no, not the pigment, the top coat, either matte or shiny, whatever you're using, really close to, like, this would be the cuticle, obviously. So maybe even if you're unsure if you got enough top coat there, go in with like a small striping brush or something like that, and just really go all around the cuticle and make sure you really get the top coat there. Because I mean, this is just a tiny little piece missing, but it will, if I was a client, that would bug me, at least. Or maybe I'm just super picky, but I wouldn't let my client go away with it like that. So if it's a really big piece, just go in with like a bonder or something to get the sticky layer back, add more pigments. Oh, actually first cure, then add more pigments, cure a little bit again, add top coat again. And that way you can fix your little boo-boo, if you get a boo-boo. I don't even see what I'm doing anymore. These are super easy to do. Just do like, think of it like a half circle, really. And I want to make it a little bit thicker, so let's do that. And this is a typical case of me just letting my brain loose. I have no idea what I was thinking when I made this, but here we go. This is the design I came up with. Sometimes I like to just do like a base of a color, or in this case multiple colors, and then just take either striping brush or a really tiny brush, and just let the brush decide where it wants to go, and then I get a design from there. It's actually kind of interesting to see what your brain can come up with when you're not really thinking about what you're doing. It can amaze you what your brain can do if you just let it. Does the pigment transfer into the top coat brush? Do you have a separate bar of top coat for pigments? I haven't noticed any of the pigments going over to the top coat brush, but I mean, if you want to be safe, I would do another separate one for it. Maybe I just haven't noticed it because the pigments are really like super tiny particles. I don't really know what to call it. Kind of looks like colored dust, nail dust, if you know what I mean. So I don't know. I don't. I mean, I don't even have a separate top coat for if I do chromes or something like that. I probably should, but I haven't had any issue with it yet, so I just haven't done it. Now, when we are happy with one of the, let's call it half circles, I'm just going to flash cure it for like 10 seconds maybe, however long I feel like it. I always flash cure in between, even if I have clients, I flash cure because I just want to be safe. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't hurt to flash cure if you feel like you need it. And I would rather like do the flash cure than to either have like my client move their hand and get their nail stuck on something, or me accidentally like pushing my nail into their nail while I'm working. I have done that and I've cried after it. It was not fun. And of course, if you do like a lot of tiny lines, I would also like do like a flash cure like in between each line, because that way if one of them isn't straight, you can always take that one away without removing all of the lines, which I find perfect. Now we're going for apparently an abstract thing here, because this one is not centered, but oh well. We are now going for abstract neon design. Perfect. Let's just fully cure that one. And while we wait for that one, we can start with the next one. We can do the neon bubbles. We're calling it bubbles. So I started already with just doing a black base and a matte top coat on top of that. If you're doing a design on top of a base like this, always make sure, unlike if you're gonna put the pigment in the design, make sure you do a layer of top coat, matte or shiny, whatever. I will probably do matte, but I mean you can do shiny too. And that's just so the pigment don't get stuck in your base layer. So for example, if I would just leave the black base like this, no top coat at all, put the white on like how I want the design to be, and then put the pigment into that, I would just have pigment all over the nail, and that's not the goal at all. And I am just adding a matte top coat to this one and curing that one. Hi, when will your XX nail pad be back in stock? Love your products. XXL nail pad. This sounds like a question for Tesso. If she's listening, maybe she can help you. But I do want to point out that the Moonflair shop has finally opened again. And there's a lot of new and exciting products there. So after this live, not now, after this live, you should all go check it out. It's totally worth it, and there's some really, really awesome products up there. Back to this one. I am once again taking a white color that has a tacky layer in it, and I'm just going to add some circles or bubbles. The bubbles. And of course, yeah, I'm just using it. Oh my god. See, okay, now we're gonna start over again. I'm just using what are they called? These. Dotting tool. Dotting tool is what I mean. And as you can see, what I just did, I had too much product on the dotting tool, so that's why we got a little bit of a wonky looking bubble. So don't add too much product on it. Like for example, let me show you. Here I have a little bit, hello, focus. I have a little bit too much product here, since you can see it's not a circle anymore, it's like sticking out. It's like a little mountain down there. So if you have that issue, maybe just take some kind of nail art palette and wipe off some of the product. You can always just dip the dotting tool back into it when you need more color. So you're not wasting the product, you're just taking it off momentarily. So back again, I am going to do like a few bubbles that go from this corner and just down through the nail. And we're gonna do some various sizes to make it look a little bit more interesting than just doing one size. For some reason, whenever I work on tips, I really like to just twist the whole tip around. I don't really know why. I don't really feel like it gives me any more support or anything like that, but I do it anyway. So we're just gonna dot on. There is one, no. And really you can just go bananas with these. Do as many you want, how many, what kind of sizes, anything. Just go bananas. I think I'm even gonna do a half one over there. And if you feel like your dotting tool isn't big enough, let's see if I can get my arm to work with me. If your dotting tool isn't big enough, I usually like to go put, let me see if you can see, yeah. Put the dotting tool straight onto and just go in tiny, tiny circles to make your bubble bigger. And there we go. I mean, it's not gonna look perfect that way, but I think you just add to the charm. If you can go in perfect circles, good for you. I am apparently not that good. Let's see, let's add one there, a tinier one, and we can do a bigger one there. And let's go a little bit in like a swirly shape, because those are still popular. I know about you guys, but I feel like I've been doing a lot of swirls again this spring. Feels like that one trend is never going away. How long has it even been since swirls started? Like what year? Was it 2021 or 2020? I don't even remember. If anyone can tell me that, I would really appreciate it. Because I was thinking about it the other day, like when did this trend start? But I could not for the life of me remember when. Feels like it's been around forever, but I know it hasn't been around forever. Oh, we have some, let's do something like that. I am going to cure that. Oh, And let's clean up or wipe off this one. So we have one ready. Clean, clean, clean. Did I remove any more? Nope. And there we go. That's the first one. Speaking of swirls would probably look really good on this too. Like just do this as a background and then like a couple swirls around. Then you have like make a really trippy design with that. Oh, maybe I have to do that sometime. See, this is the issue with these lives. I always get ideas while I'm doing them on how to do things differently. Maybe not an issue, but I don't understand why I can't think of that any other time but while I'm doing the live. But I guess that's my issue. Let's do this one with a tiny brush. Oh my god. Just to show you how to use this one. I mean, they are all pretty much the same. You just dab your tool into the pigment, dab the brush or tool, whatever you're using, with the pigment on the nail. That's it. Super easy. I don't think you would dab maybe with the big fan brush, but at least like all these smaller brushes, you just dab, dab, dab. Actually, I would kind of want that dot over there too. Never mind, we're gonna add up the dot. Because I don't like that empty space. There. Okay, I'm going to flash cure that and hope it works. Otherwise, we can all cry together. Sounds like a plan? Good. Now, damn it. No, I didn't spill. I just managed to drop my pad, like these that I clean with, into the pigment. So we wasted pigment that way instead. Is that good enough for you as dropping nutties, or do I need to drop or spill even more? Please say no. Okay, now I want to go from dark to light with this one, I think. So we're gonna start with the purple on top. And as I said, you can you see what I'm doing? Come here, come. Dab the brush into the pigment. If you feel like you have too much on the brush, just try and like scrape some of it off on the lid. And then we're gonna do the dabby. This one can be completely covered in purple. And this one I'm going to do half. And as you can see, since I have a black background, you can't really see any of the pigment that I managed to get on the black. And right now it's even only just sitting on top of the black, so I mean we're gonna go and clean it out later. Since I only have one of these brushes, I need to clean it out in between before I put it in another color, or we might end up making poo-poo color, and we do not want poo-poo color. So I am pretty much just going to take a wipe and drag out the pigment. If this is a brush that you're only going to use for this purpose, you could put some cleanser or alcohol in it too to really get out the pigments as well. But if you do that, you might have to keep in mind that the brush will be wet from the alcohol for at least a little bit. So if you go back straight into the pigment, pick it up and try to put it on to the nail, it's gonna be like clumpy, like you're gonna get big clumps of the pigment, and you might end up wasting your product, and we do not want that. So I would recommend, if you're just going in between pigments like this, do the dry pad or dry wipe cleaning. And because that way you get most of the pigment out anyway, so it won't transfer between colors. And then after you're done, you can go in with the cleanser or whatever you're using to really clean it out. But keep then also in mind that if you're using alcohol or anything like that, your brush is gonna go poof. So that's why I wouldn't do it to a brush that you're gonna use for something else. If you're doing it just for pigments, it doesn't matter. If the brush is poof, you can still use it for the same purpose anyway. It will be like using like a fan brush basically. So you get start out with one brush and then you get a new one after a while. And that's fun. Here you can now see I have a lot of maybe you can see it. I can see it at least. Yes, I have a lot of extra pigment laying around. We're gonna take care of that later. Right now I'm just going to dab on all the colors I want to start with, and then we can clean up the mess I managed to create. And here's really no right or wrong how to do this. So if you need to do the whole one. If you wanna do, you can like think of this as an ombre. So for example, here I did this one in all orange. These ones I've left a tiny, I don't even know if you can see, but I've left a tiny bit of white still because I'm gonna cover that with another pigment to try and ombre it a little bit at least. Since it's such a small area, the ombre doesn't have to be perfect because you're not really gonna see it anyway. You're just gonna see it shift from one color to another. Like here, for example, you just see, I haven't really done much to make it a good ombre here, and don't really need to since it's such a small area. So you see it's purple on the top, pink on the bottom, and it goes a little bit. You might see it if you go like super close, but that way then you need to be like 5 centimeters away from the nail, and I don't know how often you're gonna have clients or other people looking that close to a nail. So I'm going in again with a little bit like this and that, and then we're gonna cover at least these two. And again, I'm just dabbing. And here we're going to do, I need a little bit more. Just a tiny bit of, okay, never mind, we got half. Okay, we're doing half. Never mind. And we're gonna add the last color, which is yellow. And adding that in. After a while you start noticing when you can't really dab on any more color, because like it just starts bleeding out away from where the area where you're trying to put it. And now to clean up all of the pigments I've gotten around the bubbles, I obviously wouldn't use a wipe, at least not with alcohol, because if you do it that way, you're gonna wipe away all the pigments you just put on there, and that's no fun. So I actually took this hack from, I took it from Agnes, but I think she took it from Nattis, and that is by, and they used it for chrome, but I figured it would work just as well for these pigments as well. So that's just taking makeup, what is called makeup wedges, and they are now, and just lightly brushing it off. It's gonna get stuck in the makeup wedge like this, so you might need to, like, if you're done down here, switch around and find another area that's clean and go there, because otherwise you might start mixing up or just getting them all stuck together again. But just go around a little bit like that, and there we go. And now we cure it. I usually only do like a 30-second cure for the pigments. I haven't noticed that I need more than that, but if you are unsure, go ahead and do a full minute cure. That's fine as well, obviously. It just takes more time for you to wait. I have like 5 full cans with neon pigments unused. I know what I'm going to play with later. Yes. These Honestly, these are super easy to work with and really fast when you get the hang of it. Like, I wouldn't say they take any longer if I'm doing it on a client. Now, I haven't had many clients wanting neon lately. But I am hoping they will start wanting neon soon. Because, I mean, summer, neon, perfect combination. So, I am going to add flat matte to this one as well. Or should I do shine? No, we're doing flat. We're doing flat matte to this one as well. Obviously, you can do shiny if you want, but I don't know. For some reason, I really like these pigments when they are matte. I think they really... They get such a cool effect. Because, I mean, here you have it shiny-ish. Kind of shiny. And I don't know, I don't think they look the same. It's fine, obviously, but it's not the effect I wanted. So that's why I usually do all these pigments in matte was the word I was looking for. Hi Delia. And if you have a client that like uses their hand a lot, tend to come back to their appointment with a broken nail, or you just know they are really, really rough with the nails, add a second layer of top coat, and that should help if you are worried that the pigments are gonna slip away or ship away. So in most aspects, I would say treat the neon pigments as you would chrome. They are kind of similar. They just gave the different effects. And I think like with chromes, you're more like rubbing it in, but you're doing the dab with the pigments instead. So that's the difference, I would say. Moving on to the pineapple. Perfect summer snack. And honestly, this one doesn't take really that long to make. We're starting off again with black base and matte top coat on top. Doing that same kind of circle like I did on the first nail. This one. But only doing one. And we're going down like that. And when I'm doing on a tip, I always twist to make sure I get it straight. Or like even. Or try and get it as even as possible. If it's on a client. You can of course have them like turn their hand this way too. If you feel like it's comfortable for you to work that way. Otherwise just deal with it. Find a way. And there we go. There we have the start of a pineapple. Now I am just going to go in and do lines down from the top to the bottom all the way this way. And I would say actually, usually when you do lines, you might want them to be a little bit thinner because that looks better. But now you actually do want them a little bit thicker. That way you have more area or space, whatever you want to call it, for the pigments to stick to, and you can actually like see them more. Because I am going to do like a small gradient with I'm using green, yellow, and orange for this. And if you have too thin lines, you won't really see that effect. However, if you just want to do it in like one solid color, then of course you can go ahead and just do them a little bit thinner. But if you want the gradient effect, you need a little bit more white to work with. And now we're going to do the same, but other way. And that's the easiest way to get the... I don't even know what to call this pattern, but the pineapple pattern is it now. This is the time where I would normally flash cure in between actually. In case like if I feel like I make a too thick line, I could, I can't do any much about it now, but if I would have flash cured when I did the base, and then flash cured when I've gone one way, I would be fine. Say like now I feel like this one might be a little bit too thick, but we're just gonna have to deal with it, because I do not feel like starting over. So we have one thick line in the middle. And let's do one more there. And now I'm actually gonna flash cure it. Before we start with the pineapple top. What is it called? Leaves? Does a pineapple have leaves? Or what's the top thing called? Crown? Help me. What does a pineapple have? A hat? Crown? Leaves? Hair? I do not know. And here's the bubble. Super easy to do. Super fun. And yeah. Alright, so let's start with that was a bit a longer flash cure than I intended to, but that's okay. So to start with the top, I like to mark out how far up I want it to go. So let's say we're going to there, just making a small little line. This is all just for my own brain to know how high I need to go and stuff like that. So let's go there maybe. I vote for pineapple hat. Okay, it's a pineapple hat now. Ladies and gentlemen, in case you didn't know, a pineapple has a hat. And I'm just going to do like a small upside down V or point. And then we're going to make a smaller one like that. And just turn again, I guess. And do the same on the other side. And I mean, this doesn't have to be perfect at all. But there we have a start. And then all we do is connect this top with the base. And you want to go, I would say at least, go like in a C shape. I wouldn't go straight down at least. I mean, if you look at a pineapple, it doesn't go straight. You want it to be thinner down at the base. And this doesn't have to be perfect right now. Right now I'm just sketching it out. I'm going to fill it in with white anyway, so if I feel like I want this one to be a little bit thicker, I can always fix that with when I'm filling it in. But all the time when I do any kind of smaller details like these, I sketch it out first, then fill it in. That kind of looks like a carrot top. Oh, we got a carrot top. First I sketch it out, then I fill it in, and when I have it filled in, that's when I go and check the lines and make sure they are straight if they need to be straight, they are as pointy as I want them to be, they are as thick as I want them to be, like all the tiny details I do last. Because I feel like there's no point doing it first, because you're most likely gonna mess it up anyway. So sketch, main, filling in, detail work. That's my order for pretty much everything I do. Oh, filling in there. But I actually feel kind of happy with this one. Let's just make it a little bit a skinny boy top. Hat. Sorry, skinny hat. So I'm just gonna fill it in, and then we're gonna do a cure to get the sticky layer you want in order to add the pigments. And please remember to cure before you add the pigments. I've done the mistake where I forgot to cure. I don't know, I was tired maybe or something. So I just made my design, didn't cure, added the pigment on top of it, and the paint stuck to the brush I was using, and I just completely destroyed it. I mean, it was sticky from paint, it was sticky from pigments, and from my tears. So don't make the same mistake I did. I am going to take... No, wait, I need that one. This one I don't need, so we are gonna put the lid back on. Like that, while we wait. And I also feel like doing the whole like tippy-tappy to get the pigment into the... what is this called? Lid. You don't waste any product, really. Because, I mean, you put it back in and then it falls. I also store them upside down, so I don't always have to do the tippy-tappy. I just have them already, like, a lot of pigment in the lid, since they are stored upside down. And I mean, since they are clear, you will see what color it is anyway. And they don't... At least I haven't seen any brand that has a name for their colors, but if they do, you could just write it on the bottom. If you do the same method of storing as I do. Let's see, what brush are we gonna use this time? Let's try it with this fan brush, actually, the smaller one. So we're gonna use this one now. Obviously, we want the hat to be green. So we're gonna start off with the green. Even though it's neon, we still want it to be somewhat of a realistic pineapple. So I'm just gonna dab, dab, dab. Now you can see actually what's the issue while using the fan brush. Hold on, let me dab a little bit more. And a little bit more. As you can see now, I have green all over, which means I have a lot to clean up instead. If I use a smaller brush, I have more control of where the pigment goes, meaning I won't have as much cleanup. So for the base, I am going to use the stippling brush instead, just to have a little bit more control, because I only put pigment on the top, like the top part of the nail. As you can see, I am covered in pigments, so wear your gloves when you do this. And I'm going to wipe off a little bit. And then, yes, we're adding, what is this? Yellow. This is yellow. Colorblind. Yes, I am colorblind for today. Dabbing, 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 dabbing. And again, I have to clean out the brush. So if there's like a lot of pigments on the pad, I haven't really noticed any problem. So that's not a problem, but you don't want it in the brush. So take that pad or wipe. Yeah, these are a little bit harder to clean though, but even if you have a teeny tiny bit of color like this in it, it works. If you're using color that are similar, if you go from like, what is it, blue to yellow, you might start making green instead. So be careful if you don't get all the things out. But we're dabbing, and now with the orange, I'm actually going a little bit over the yellow to kind of get the gradient effect. And that's really all you have to do. Go a little bit over and then you're done. So now we are going to find a clean corner. Move these away. And I mean, you don't want all of this green mess on. That would definitely get stuck in your top coat brush if you left it there when you're going to put top coat on top of it. So that way I would not recommend it. But there we go. We got our pineapple. Going to do a 30-second cure, and then we can just add the top coat on top, and then we're done. So I hope I have managed to make it a little bit clearer for you how to use neon pigments. I've seen a lot of people struggling with it, so that's why I figured I would do a live, since they are really fun to work with, and there's so much you can do with them if you really just like when you start getting the hang of it. So I would highly recommend you to, if you don't have any, go buy some and try them out, because they are really so much fun. And I wish I had clients that wanted to play with them a little bit more. So I guess I got to start figuring out a way to force my clients to use these pigments, because they are so perfect for summer. And I mean, you don't have to use them on all nails either. You can just do like a accent nail with something with the neon on top. That would be really nice. But yes, do I have any questions? Is there anything unclear of what I've been talking about? I feel like I've been, as always when I do a live, just babbling on. And hopefully someone finds it interesting. Otherwise, I might just be sitting here babbling to myself. That's fine too. I usually do that anyway. No questions? Oh, I must be a pro then. Telling you guys exactly what to do. Okay, so if there's anyone who's gonna try out this technique design, which I hope there is, I would love to see it. So please tag me. Let me see. Here's my, let's cover that one. My Instagram handle, and then of course tag Moonflair as well. Oh no, let's get Mr. Pineapple ready. Cleany. Yes. And there's the pineapple. So let's put them. Oh no. Chaos. Let's put them all together. Here's what we've done today. And as I said, this base you can use for pretty much any kind of design on top, or even leave it as it is and combine any colors you want. How many colors you want now? Now I used 5, but obviously you can do like half and half would be really cool, or just like 2 or 3. That would be obviously half and half, but you can do like the same idea with blobbing on, but just in 2 colors. Like there's so much things you could do. Maybe even try and do like a neon marble would be really cool. Oh, yeah, see, I get all my ideas while I'm doing a live. Perfect. So now I'm going to be here at the salon until midnight, just trying out different ideas. Great. So, I have some news for you guys before I will leave you. This is gonna be the last live for a little while. We are going to take a break until August, just so we all can get some vacation as well, because we deserve it. And I hope you take a vacation for yourself as well, because you deserve it as well. I feel like we nail techs tend to like work our asses off, but not really think of ourselves. So important. Take care of yourself. Take a vacation. Take a day off if you feel like you need it. But that's all I have for you guys today. And I hope you enjoyed the live. And we will be back again in August. But of course, we're still on social media, but like the lives will be back in August. So have a great summer, you all. And a great night as well. Bye-bye.